Welcome to Society Insurance's webinar entitled SEO, an Introduction, where we will discuss best practice tips and tricks on your basic search engine optimization for your business's website. SEO is search engine optimization. It means where your website falls when someone searches for you on the internet, whether it's your brand name, your restaurant name, your company name, or some keywords like local restaurant or best place to find food in a city. It's a process that affects your ranking, and we're going to talk through some of the various best practices today on how to affect and impact and grow your SEO practices. The majority of users use Google for their search engine, so that's primarily where we're going to advise you on best practice. However, there are some other options when people are searching on the internet using Bing, Yahoo, and other search engines. Primarily, though, you're going to have the bulk majority of users using Google. You also need to realize that SEO takes a significant amount of time. The changes that you make aren't going to see instantly. You're not going to see a change overnight necessarily. It's a process. And so to remember that process and to remember the ongoing components that we're going to discuss today is important as you start to implement some of these changes. In terms of your return on investment in the time or money spent on SEO practices, you're really going to grow your reach. You're going to attract a larger audience, perhaps new visitors or customers. You're going to have increased brand awareness on the internet. Many years ago, companies, businesses weren't looking to be on the internet. Now we see companies and businesses knowing they need to be on the internet, not just in the web format, but also on social media and in other instances across the web. There are two different methods to get your website to land on the first page of any search result. One is focusing on the organic search results using search engine optimization, and the other is using a pay-per-click component, which allows you to pay for individual listings. If we look at the graphic on the right side of the screen, we see the blue box, which are organic search results. This is where 85% of searchers go, and that has the strongest click-through rate when coming up on a search result. There's more traffic there. However, it does take more time and ongoing maintenance to have your website land in those first 5 to 10 results on any page. On the other hand, you have pay-per-click. Those are the green boxes on that graphic. Those are advertisements that you pay for. You have an added expense on using those, and you pay for each click that goes through to your website. Ultimately, we strongly advise spending the time, effort, and energy on your organic search results to decrease your cost overall. And this is what we'll be discussing for the duration of the webinar. So how do you improve your organic search results? Let's look at some of the basics. The first, on the right-hand side, is the metadata. We see Society Insurance's metadata pulled for us. The purple words are the meta titles. Those titles are specific to the actual page of the website and should match the content. The descriptions, also similar to the titles, should match the content on the website. Your descriptions should be approximately 150 to 160 characters and describe what's happening on the page. You notice that the meta title and descriptions show up in the snippet preview when you are on Google or Bing or other search engines and the website shows up. Another important factor are the keywords. And we're talking about the keywords that are actually on your website and the pages within. You need to think about what your key words and phrases are going to be, because you need to include them in terms of the amount of frequency, the number of times that they repeat on the website, whether or not you're going to look at key phrases to include more than one or two keywords, which is best practice, and think about some local or national keywords and phrases that you can use as part of your SEO strategy and embed those in the meta titles, the meta descriptions, and on the actual content on the website. In order for your domain and website to have credibility with search engines, you need to have some links built that are sending people back to your website. Social media is a great place for you to have those links built back to your website. In addition to that, we have online directories. There are a number that are free and some that are paid. There are blogs. If you have relationships with bloggers in the area that are covering your restaurant, your location, then you may say to them, can you link back to us in your writing when you mention us? And online press releases. Make sure these press releases are newsworthy and have some sort of appeal to the greater audience so that you can use those press releases to link back to your website. When focusing on the organic search results, it's imperative to monitor and maintain your listing for various keywords. Looking at the location in the first 5-10 positions on a search result, reading reviews that people are putting on the web and responding to them, because those are important for your SEO strategies, and looking at different directories that come out so that you can in fact help your SEO strategy by adding yourself to those directories. We also recommend using social media to assist with your SEO practices. It's a great place for you to draw traffic to your website by using links within your posting, similar to the link here sharing one of the blog posts for Society Insurance. In addition to that, you can build these links to various pages on your website so that you have people entering different locations within your domain, not just your home page. Don't be afraid to use social media to self-promote your organization, your business, and the great things that are happening. Because coupled with that excellent content and the links back to your website, driving traffic and having a solid SEO strategy are only going to be fruitful for you in the long run. You want to spend the time optimizing your website from the beginning. This includes adding the metadata that we previously discussed to all of your pages. Make sure that you add titles and descriptions to each and every page, and make sure that they are relevant to those pages. In addition, once your website is live, you want to submit it to Google and Bing using their site submitter. After you've submitted your site to the major search engines, you also want to install their webmaster tools so that you can see where your traffic is coming from and use some of those tools to your advantage. When you're focusing on the content and the writing on your website, you want to make sure you have your keyword list handy so that you can target that density. You want those keywords to be located multiple times per page. You also want to give yourself domain credibility by building links like we previously talked about, and using your social channels to share your website and different locations on your website. As you're developing your website content, you want to make sure that you have a mechanism to keep your content new and engaging. A great platform to do this is using a blog on your website. Search engines want to see that your website will continue not only to add pages, but new and relevant content, and that's information that you can also share. The static pages, like a home page or a single page as your standalone website with your hours and your menu, are great, but they're not enough for an SEO strategy that's going to focus on organic search results. You want to make your website dynamic. You want to make sure that there's new and engaging content at the forefront of your SEO strategy when you're developing your website and the pages that you are creating. As we mentioned, the blog is a great way. There are other ways, like adding new pages on a consistent basis, but primarily making sure that you are adding pages or content is going to be imperative as you develop and continue to implement your SEO strategy. From the content we've shared as part of this webinar, we invite you to take a look at these 4 goals for your website and your SEO strategy. First, take a look at where you fall in search results. Are you already on page 1 and not knowing it? Are you on page 10, or do you not even show up on Google or Bing or any of the various search engines? If that's the case, and once you've analyzed those results, start with adding your keywords to the pages. Submit your site to Google and Bing, and look at how you can post new content, especially if your website has been around for a number of months or even weeks or even years for that matter. We strongly suggest that you look at new content that you can change, that you can manipulate, so that you can get back into the forefront of these search engines and start showing up in order to increase your awareness, build your brand, and grow to greater audiences across the internet. In summary, we want to remind you that search engine optimization is a process and that it takes time. You're not going to see instantaneous results, and changes aren't going to be that dramatic overnight. But by implementing these best practices, you will certainly see an improved result. Slow and steady will always win the race. And in this race, the ever-changing race, you want to make sure that you are continuing that slow and steady pace. We invite you to continue joining our conversation at Society Insurance through our social media channels of Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us and learning some of the best practices on SEO.